I remember uh, I remember one older woman
Oh.
who was very anti-immigration, and I remember she drove me batty. But I feel like I zinged her a couple of times. I was like, "You're an old lady." I think that was the height of my
Yeah, but
repartee.
who looks stupid now?
Yes,
I mean,
exactly.
no, I mean, I think the whole country, even unless you're like stupid woke, I hope you're not, but it is
I'm
Hollywood.
somewhat stupidly woke.
Okay. Uh, the whole country was like, I mean, I think the biggest issue for the election, one of the biggest ones, was Democrats pointlessly, totally just punted on immigration and let anybody who wanted to walk in for 3.5 years did. And, you know,
Well, I think they would probably disagree. The people walking in probably felt like it was a
oh,
little harder.
no, no. No,
um,
actually, there's a great 60 Minutes piece on it where the border, I mean, you don't get 8 million people here by making it difficult. But they're just, I mean, you see they're walking through and the border guys are just watching them do it.
mm,
They're just watching them walk past. You never saw that?
I did not see that.
See, that
No.
doesn't get in the liberal media. That's the problem is the bubbles we live in.
Mhm.
The border's back on the top of discussion today because Great Britain explodes over mass rape of British girls. Musk leads charge to oust Steimer. The dam appears to have broken on this most shameful chapter in Britain history. A national scandal in Great Britain where years of predominantly Pakistani men reportedly groomed and raped young British women, oh, sorry, I say women, girls, only to have the government seemingly turn a blind eye and have come to a boil with many people, including billionaire Elon Musk, publicly calling for resignation of Labour Party Prime Minister uh, Starmer. I can't speak today, guys. The Labor Party has blocked an investigation into Steimer, who served as head of the Crown Prosecution Service. Jess Phillips, Labor's safeguarding minister, insisted that it was for Oldham Council alone to decide whether to launch an investigation into an alleged exploitation between 2011 and 2014. And this shut off a lot of people on X, not a lot of people on X, a lot of liberals on X, right? And you saw the clip that I just showed you in the intro,
I
how
remember.
out of touch liberals are on the issue of immigration, right? And he essentially, Bill Maher called this guy out and say, hey, like, you got to be stupid woke to believe this stuff. And then you got disinformation experts, whatever the hell that is. A disinformation expert has descended from the mountain of truth to pronounce all mortals what is and what is not true. This is a fake credential. Everything's completely fabricated, and everyone who uses it for themselves or others is a fraud. His teeps are getting more narcotic and more political. Disinformation expert Mark Owen Jones tells somebody Elon Musk is engaging in foreign interference in his posts about other countries. Are other countries participating in foreign intervention when they sit here day and night and talk about American politics? I think not, right? And this is the kind of ish that pisses off a lot of people, right? This name calling from the left, like they think they have some type of credibility. Britain's Kieran Steimer, who those who want to probe into the rape gangs are far right. Imagine that, you wanting to highlight a possible scandal where the government is trying to protect its own interests. Because remember, liberals around the world seem to be able to benefit from mass migration because they see it as a way of replacing the populace and holding a group of people in their favor. Hey, look, we let you in the country. You should vote for us. Pro quote, whatever you want to call it. And when there's some inconvenient facts about the people that they're letting into their country and the kind of damage that they're causing to the natives of that country, you're surprised why the sentiment is becoming more nationalistic across the world. Look what's going on in France, sorry. Look what's going on across Europe. There's a shift towards the right. Why? Because people are starting to realize, oh, you can't just be so open-minded that your brain fall out. There's risk in bringing other people whose culture is incompatible to your very own. I see how British women dress, right? I mean, American women, they don't dress any different, but I see videos of women scantily clad, provocatively walking in the streets of Britain, and then they complain about them getting attacked. And then when you mention who's attacking these women, They don't mention the color. It's a dead giveaway. When they don't mention the color of the individual, it's a non-white person. That's all you need to know. And you want to look into these facts, or you're far right, because it hurts your narrative that you try to portray. Far left British Prime Minister Keir Starmer claimed on Monday that those who demanded that there be an investigation and accountability over the mass rape of predominantly white children in the country by Pakistani grape gangs and the subsequently cover up by the British officials were trying to jump on a bandwagon of the far right. How about trying to hold you accountable because you were wrong, because you were neglectful of your populace? You put other people, put your own interest over the interest and safety of your own British people. Yo, there's a theme with liberals. Liberals do everything for their own convenience and pretend they're doing it for your convenience. I hate this about liberals. I hate this about the left. They sit here saying, we're standing up for the rights of people. No, you're not. You're standing up for the rights of your own power. Starmer remarks came after Elon Musk has reportedly hammered the British government for days over the scandal, pumping out posts to his 210 million followers and exposing the violence that young women have been subjected to, along with the British government's efforts to keep the scandal quiet so that riots would not break out and they not look bad. Those spreading lies and misinformation as far and wide as possible are not interested in victims. They're interested in themselves. Yeah, you're not interested in the fact that your people is getting hurt by your interest in having mass migration into your country. And people are highlighting this negative outcome that you are creating an incentive for, and you don't want to take accountability for it. He said that those calling for investigation were doing so because they want to jump on the bandwagon of the far right. And this is the kind of liberal crap that many Americans and I think many people around the world are slowly rejecting. I'm going to show you another clip from the same conversation that Bill Maher had with this guy named John Cryer, and how woke ideology caused him to be tolerant of intolerance. Let's take a look at this clip.
They also did a great piece some years ago about a woman in London who was in the Muslim neighborhoods, and they're screaming at her because she's wearing a skirt and stuff like that. And the point of it was, there are places in Western civilizations that are like run not by Western standards, and that doesn't mean they're just different.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there are cultural enclaves everywhere.
Right, but we should agree that women should be able to wear what they want.
Yes.
If you don't agree with that, then you're not a liberal to begin with.
Well,
women,
yes.
Call me a crazy liberal, but I think women should have freedom.
I agree as well.
Okay.
I agree as well.
But they don't in these neighborhoods. It was the 60 Minutes piece that they did.
One could argue that that women don't have the freedom to dress where they are, in dress how they want to dress in many places. They used to get catcalled all the time. They used to, there was
used to.
Well,
we're talking about now.
Well,
yeah, a lot of shit used to happen, but what's going on now in the world? Would you really want to have your wife live in Gaza or any place where? No, I mean before
war-torn strip of desert.
Even before the war, where she would have to cover up.
Well, again, that's not.
This brings us back to the Elon Musk conversation, right? So why is Musk as a private citizen not allowed to intervene in foreign policies, and Soros as a private citizen is allowed to fund hundreds of political organizations abroad? Breaking: Macron accused Elon of election interference. Who would have thought that if we had been told that the owner of one of the largest social media networks in the world would support the new international reactionary movement and intervene directly in elections, right? And this is the hypocrisy that many people can't stand about Democrats and many people on the left, right? At least with Republicans, at least with conservatives, they believe in two-race street. If you can do it, I can do it. And if I can't do it, then you got to stop doing it. This is how conservatives operate philosophically. Okay, so this is we can't do riots anymore. Okay, we gonna stop doing riots. But the problem arises when the left continues to do riots, and the right say, "Yo, we stop doing riots, you do riots. How's that fair to us?" And then we react to that, and then they go say, "Oh, it's so reactionary. It's so reactionary." Just like immigration. Hey, you wouldn't agree with a bunch of people coming in and trying to replace other people on the job. So why are we letting mass immigration come here and replace our fellow citizens, making jobs harder for us? Right? And the people brag, the liberals, when you talk about immigration or mass immigration, legal or illegal, and you're saying, hey, it's a problem, they always try to bring race into the conversation. And that's how you know someone's trying to be intellectually dishonest, because mass immigration is at its core a nationalistic argument. Hey, should the nations of your people be the first priority in your economy? The answer is yes. Canadians should be the most benefit from a Canadian economy. Americans should be the most benefit of an American economy. You can't have a nation where majority of your jobs goes to non-Americans, non-Canadians, non-Frenchmen. That makes no damn sense. And speaking of 60 Minutes, because this was brought up in the clip that I just showed you about this crazy woke lib, and this is what woke is. Woke is having no standards for yourself and allowing anything and anyone, this self-perception that one culture is better than the other, or no culture is better than another. Outcomes don't matter. All that matters is your perceived moral virtue. And this is a 60 minutes of being forced to train your replacement before you are laid off.
What did they say to you?
This hurts Americans of all races. We're sorry to inform you, as of February 28, you'll no longer have a job. We're going to outsource your position to this company in India.
We are sorry to inform you that as of February 28th, you'll no longer have a job.
White man? Is that a white man? Oh, but I thought only white. I thought the woke right was responsible for worrying about H1B1s replacing their jobs because it hurts white people. If it hurts white people, it hurts black people more. Because guess what? White people are 66% of the population. It's going to be very hard to justify replacing 66% of the population with migrants. But it's very easy, it's a lot easier to replace 13% of the population, though, in the workforce. Oh, wait, who's 13% of the population against? Oh, yeah, black people. That's why when Tucker Carlson was making this argument about Americans being displaced, and the left dishonestly try to frame it as a white replacement theory. This is the garbage that you have to deal with when you're a critically thinking individual. You're like, wait, that don't make sense. White people are the majority in this country. And all these other ethnic groups will be more likely to be replaced before the white people are replaced. Y'all have to group up a bunch of ethnic minorities in the country just to overtake the white population. And you want to sit here and pretend that replacement theory affects white people? It will hurt black people first before it hurts white people. I'm just telling you that right now. Black people are barely be able to be representative in other fields, and that's not because of racism. That's because of the culture and black people's inabilities to actually compete competitively within America, and that starts with education. By the time a black person gets to college, affirmative action in college is not going to fix this. It has to go lower. It has to start earlier. And this is why everyone tells black people or black America, hey, the biggest advantage you can give your kid is to raise them in a two-parent household because of the outcomes that comes from two-parent households. And that in of itself is a privilege. But then you're going to pretend, oh, white privilege. Most white people grew up in a house with two-parent household. It's shrinking now in modern times. I believe the white community is like at 40% single motherhood rate, but that's still a lot better than the black community. That's at 70%. Hell, I saw some stats say 80%. And this is how you get the negative outcomes. There's certain degrees that don't have a single black graduate in it. Why is that? That's not because of racism. That's culture, right? And mass migration only makes it harder for black people to compete. And that's the argument. That's the argument of mass migration. This is why I laugh. I was like, yo, if black people stop thinking about being pro-Democrat, stop equating being pro-Democrat with being pro-black, you'll start seeing the difference. Because I always call the pro-black, the people who claim to be pro-black, I call them out. I say, you're not pro-black, you're pro-Democrat. Because what's pro-Democrat and what's pro-black, you'll find out they conflict a lot. I'm just going to say that. When you look at things that hurt black America, a lot of it stems from the Democratic policies. The worst cities to live as a black man is in Democratic cities. Make it make sense. But you keep voting for them though. But you have the audacity to call black people who think differently from you, black people who are more independent but vote Republican, you want to call them coons. Who sound like the real coon? Who votes for abortion, which disproportionately aborts more black babies than any other race? Black women, right? 40%? You 30% of the population, but you abort 40, but you're responsible for 40% of abortions. That's 400,000 black babies that were killed by your decisions. And you wonder why the growth of the black community is stagnant. Why the Hispanic community, if it hasn't already, will overtake the black community as being the second largest ethnic group in America. And you allegedly, African Americans, you've been here for generations. So how is the people who just started migrating like maybe 100 years ago already overtook people who've been here since damn near the founding of the country? Make it make sense. Make that make sense. Because of abortion. But who that benefits? Democrats. Because Democrats, you can easily have, when you see these crazy numbers, 77% of a community voted for a party, 90% of a community voted for a party. You can only get that with a small population. So I see this as population control. Abortion is population control, just as Margaret Sanger envisioned it to be. We don't want the weeds to grow too much in this country, huh? Y'all literally doing what Margaret Sanger wanted you to do, black woman. You're agreeing with the racists that, hey, yeah, if you don't have the ability, we should have undesirable shouldn't be allowed to propagate. And you going right along with it. But black conservatives are the coons because we vote Republican. Oh, yeah, okay. It's the same argument I throw at progressives in their face all the time. They're anti-American. You support things that are anti-American. How is having this pro Britain? How is this having? How does this help progress? If you're for the people, progressives, because progressives are gonna day and night will defend migrants to come into their country. But you make any accusations how migrants contribute, illegal immigrants contribute to crime in America, and American progressives are ready to jump on your neck saying that you're being racist. When you're just pointing out a fact. That you're importing a culture that's intolerant of other cultures. And you're being tolerant of that intolerance. Liberals, so tolerant that it ends up looking like submission. And that is why I was never a liberal. Because I always see liberals as being a very submissive political ideology. At least with conservatives, you can the negative is that conservatives can tend to recluse themselves. That they tend to, okay, let's be over here. Let's get away from all this stuff. Let's pack ourselves in a corner somewhere and just operate the way we want in some out of the pocket, some place far away from everybody else. That's what conservatives tend to do. Liberals tend to be like, oh, we'll accept anything, we'll accept anything. And then they're on the table getting their heart ready to get taken out. Yeah, I digress, man. I digress because subjecting your people to this, and then when you get called out for it, I don't care who calls it out. I don't care if a Canadian call it out. I don't care if a Frenchman call it out. I don't care if your own citizens call it out. You own this, and because people are trying to highlight what you're doing and the negative ramifications of what you're doing, and it's making you look bad. Now you stammering around to try to save face. Typical politician. Britain, prayers to you guys, bro. Y'all deal with a lot. Mass stabbings, high rates of crime. Y'all deal with a lot over there. And I hope this Steimer guy loses power. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd like to see and hear what you guys are thinking about this whole situation. And mass immigration, just immigration in general, just keeps coming up in public conversations. And it shows you how big of a problem this is around the world. I digress. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching the end of the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.